session, I just wanted to come out and say a few things and disclose totally and completely, I'm not recommending that you do this recipe for canning. I'm just showing you what I did. Now, I didn't do this by the seat of my pants. I actually decided to start researching a couple of years ago when I came across one of my mom's old recipes out of a bulk canning book for chicken a la king. And it used milk and it used flour, and we ate that the whole time I was growing up. And I thought, well, if you can do it in that, well, now the new revised version, they don't have that in there. And so as I dug a little bit deeper, I had to find out why you can't can, or why you're not supposed to can dairy. And that's because the FDA hasn't done any studies or any, they haven't put the money forth and done the recipes to see how a home canner can can dairy. And so it's easy to just say don't do it. That was all I came up with, was do as I say. And so then I dug a little bit deeper and wanted to find out why. Well, it's a low acid food, just like green beans, carrots, beef, chicken, beans, dry beans, any low acid food, it's a low acid food as well. And so the fear in that is botulism. And botulism, you cannot kill those spores unless you get up to 104 or 240 degrees and above, which cannot be achieved in a water bath canner. It can only be achieved in a pressure canner. Now, I still had some concerns whether or not I could, actually do this safely. And I then realized that my canner, if I did the maximum amount of time, and my altitude is 4,500 feet above sea level, so I have to be at 15 pounds of pressure, which means inside that canner it's 250 degrees. So it's well above the level to kill botulism. I just am totally recommending you all do things after you've done your research and what feels right for you and your family. Please don't think that I'm trying to tell you this is how you can cream of chicken and mushroom soup. But I will tell you, this is how you make the most delicious cream of chicken and mushroom soup, and you don't have to can it. Now, if you wanted to make this recipe and make it shelf stable and then add your cream later, don't put the cream in. Add it after you open your jar. And most of the time that is what I do anyway, just because I want that rich flavor that the cream lends when it's fresh. So that being said, let's go watch the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Please refer to your bulk canning book or any reference guide that you deem safe. There's a lot of books out there written by a lot of different people, and I'm not sure that the FDA is the only one I'll ever listen to, but it was a great recipe. So nonetheless, let's go see how I did this. And my maiden voyage with my new All-American canner, and I got a 921 model. It stacks 16 pints or 7 quarts, and so I got to use it with 16 pints in there. I'm super excited. So let's go see how I did it, and we'll get you to the real video. Well, hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry, and I am so excited to bring you this video. I have waited a long time for this. As you know, if you've followed me for any length of time, I'm an avid canner. I own 2 Presto canners that hold 8 pints or 7 quarts a piece. And so when I got a big canning project, I have to pull out both of them, which is fine. But I've wanted an All-American canner for a very long time, and I just had to start putting away, this is All-American canner money, until I came up with enough. And I was pleasantly surprised because I still thought I had quite a ways to go when I was on Amazon and came across this awesome deal I could not turn down, and I had plenty in my little stash. So I purchased the 921 All-American canner. This holds 16 pints if you want to stack them, or 7 quarts. I didn't need the bigger one that will stack quarts. First of all, it would make that canner extremely heavy. I would have to use it outside, and I thought I was going to have to use this one outside. But when I was looking at the dimensions, and this is also what held me back from getting one, it was counting the handle in here, and I didn't think it would fit underneath my microwave. My clearance is really small there. And so when we got it home, I was pleasantly surprised. It fits under there just fine. I just can't use my microwave during a session. So we're gonna do our first canning. I've already washed it, read my instructions on how much water. I've got to oil the rim of the lid, how to put the lid on, all those good things. And we're gonna make cream of chicken soup. Well, actually cream of chicken and mushroom soup. And so I've already prepped all my stuff last night. I prepped up, I bought skin on, bone on chicken thighs, and I boned them, and I have just under 6 pounds of cubed chicken thigh meat. I have back on the stove a 7-quart pot of chicken bone broth, and that has been going now for, oh gosh, about 18 hours. And so it's gonna make a delicious base for this. I've got 3 to 4 pounds of mushrooms that I chopped up on the Vidalia chopper, on the large chop. I did an onion the same way, and then I have 2 large cloves of elephant garlic that I use the small chop on, and 3 cloves of regular garlic. The elephant garlic is very sweet and mild, so it won't become overpowering. I also, when I was looking at my onions, a couple of them are trying to sprout, and the onion isn't any good anymore, but the greens on top are fantastic, so I'm going to use those. And then I have some bay leaves, and we are going to make a big pot of soup, and enough to can 16 pints, which a pint jar is 2 cups, and that's plenty for one person to have a nice big bowl of soup. So I hope it brings you along. We're going to get started on the soup first. All right, guys. Let's go. All right, so the first thing I need to do is strain my bone broth into my big 22-quart stock pot. I need to get a medium size between this one and this one. It just would be really nice. And I've got all my stuff prepped, so I'm ready to go. This pan is still really hot, and if you guys would like to see a video on how to make a really good bone broth, then let me know in the comment how big a mess I can make. And as you can see, all the bones there they've done their job. A little bit of meat that was on them have done what they're supposed to do. So we are good to go. Obviously, I'm not going to fill 22 quarts, so I'd be canning for the next 3 days if I did that. In goes our meat. And this will be pretty quick to bring it to the boil. Guess I could have got these off. There's quite a bit of chopping and prepping for this soup, so I was really happy to be able to do it last night, and then I don't have to do as much today. We are going to still have to add some more water, but we want, this soup is going to be good for us for the week, but then the canned version is going to be what we take in our lunches, and it's already done and ready to go, homemade soup. Can't ask for more than that. My onion and my garlic is going in. And I really don't need any other aromatics in here because we really want that rich mushroom flavor as well as the chicken. And I'll bring you in for a close-up here in a second. We're going to add about a healthy tablespoon of celery seed. That will give us some flavor. We've got our bay leaves going in, and I've got 5 here. They're not very big, so the onion tops, and that you could omit that. I just didn't want to waste that. I felt bad about having to throw the onion away as it was, so I thought, well, I'll use the tops. And then last but not least, and this is a big pot of soup. Now, I want to make sure that I've got really an earthy flavor to this. And so I'm going to add some herbs de Provence, and all that is a combination of thyme, fennel, basil, savory, and lavender. And it cans up pretty fantastic. But you got to be careful. You don't want to use too much. So for this pot of soup, I'm going to use about 1.5 teaspoons, maybe closer to, yeah, 1.5 teaspoons. And that's all you're gonna need, because during the canning process, some spices will become stronger, just like peppers will become stronger. We may have a double canning session, because I can always can again tomorrow. And that was about a tablespoon of black pepper, freshly ground. And we are going to give it one last stir here. Get that in there. And the mushrooms are gonna, they're gonna shrink up as they lose their liquid and give off that earthy mushroom flavor that we love. And that was a combination of 1.5 pounds of cremini and 1.5 pounds, well, actually more like 2.5 pounds of white button mushrooms. And there we go. I'll bring you back when it's time to add our thickener. So we're ready to thicken and cream our soup now. So it's been simmering a nice, simmer for about 1.5 hours. Plenty of time for the mushrooms to become small little chunks of mushroom and flavor that broth, as well as the chicken getting cooked through. You could cook it less time, but we're going to have this for dinner tonight too. So now what I've got is my thickening agent, and I'm going to use Therm Flo. This is a modified food starch. I feel it's safe to can with. I can with it myself. You can certainly use your own judgment for any of your cooking. So I'm going to mix this just like you would a cornstarch slurry with about 1.5 cups of cold water. Got my cream. We're going to go ahead and add that in. We want to keep this at a simmer. This is going to cool it down. And I'm just going to keep checking. I don't know that I'm going to add the whole quart of cream, but let's see. Ooh, how pretty. It's going to be delicious. I'm going to add the whole quart of heavy cream. To make sure you've got the correct seasoning, but let me see if I can show you how the chunks of mushroom, if you can see that. They're pretty, they shrink up pretty good. Wow. That is really, really good. I love the little hint of herbs de Provence, but not too much. It's not too salty. I'm not going to add any sodium. Chicken has sodium in it when you buy it in the store, so make sure that this comes up to that simmer we need again, and then we can add our Therm Flo and get this thickening. Okay, now that it's come up to temperature again, I'm going to cool it off again and add my Therm Flo. And we're going to add the full amount that I whisked together. So that was 1 cup of Therm Flo to about 1.5 cups of water. And give that a stir. Give it a chance to get thick. It's already started. And you can buy Therm Flo online, as well as Clear Gel. Clear Gel is another one that you can use, a modified food starch that, you can use it in your jellies and your sauces to thicken them. And what happens if you used regular cornstarch, it's not stable during the canning process. So it would actually lose its thickening power while it was canning, and then you wouldn't have thick soup anymore. And so that's the reason for using this. I'll leave a link down below where you can not only purchase my beautiful canner like mine, and they come in so many different sizes, so it's really, I wouldn't even mind having a little guy to use for small canning processes because you use less power. But so I've got this mixed up. Let's see how we're doing in here. Not quite, but boy, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful cream of mushroom soup. Cream of chicken and mushroom. Go ahead and got my hot jars. They've been sitting in the dishwasher, and they go through that sanitized setting, and they are hot. My canner is hot, but I can still stick my finger in it. You don't want it too hot at this point because really 180 degrees is as hot as you want it. Oh, the soup is just deliciously thick. I don't know if you can see that consistency, but it's really thick. So what you want to do is stir really well before you start ladling. And this is a vat of soup. I think we'll be canning again tomorrow. Just saying, I'm guessing. So I've got that all stirred. Go ahead and get your ladle. Start ladling your hot soup in your hot jars. Cream mushroom, chicken and mushroom soup. How delicious. I'm so excited to have this on my pantry shelf to take to work, to cook with, all the wonderful things that you would do with this. So I've got some white vinegar here in this bowl. I'm going to go ahead and move my funnel over, and I've got too much in this one. So we're going to take some out. Let me grab a spoon that I can do that with. It's kind of easy to do. You get over anxious. You want an inch of headspace, plenty of room for this liquid to expand during the canning process. And there we go. Just to the bottom rim there. And I'm wiping everything down with white vinegar. That will keep any oils or fat off the rim of the jar. And at that point, check your rim, make sure there's no nicks in that. And we're gonna grab a Tadler lid as well as a ring. And there's been a lot of questions about Tadler lids. I posted an Amazon link over on my Facebook page, and you know, we're talking about them. To me, it's the way to go. I've used these same rings probably 20 times. They say 10 times, but so finger tight and then back off just a hair. Ooh, that's hot. First one going in, the new beautiful beast that I have over here. Oh, can't wait. And I've got 3 inches of water in the canner. Like I said, I washed it. I've oiled the whole rim of the canner. You've got to make sure you get some oil on that. We're going to go ahead and dunk down in, dig deep when you're getting soup out, so nobody misses out on any chunky mushrooms or chicken. So as you can see, this canner is venting. I've got the timer going for 10 minutes. And I went to load some more jars into the dishwasher, and I realized I had 7 quarts that were already available to me, and they were still hot. And so I dished up a couple of containers. That we'll have tonight for dinner, and then Michael can take this in his lunch this week a couple of times, and and then we have 6 quarts, and I thought, I'm just going to can it up. Might as well. I've got to be here with this canner, so I might as well go ahead and get this one rocking and rolling. So we're going to put the lid on. 6 quarts and 16 kinds of soup. I don't think I have to make that kind of soup in a while. For a little bit, anyway. So I lined this up. I just checked the clear spout. It's clear to go. This locking button is working fine. My gasket's been oiled, so it's ready to go. And I've got it on high. As soon as this starts venting, we'll give that a 10-minute vent. This one is, when it's done here in 6 minutes, I'm going to start to put the weight on, start the timer, and because there's chicken in there, that means you have to can it for 75 minutes for this canner, and it'll be 90 minutes for this canner. So, guys, I hope it inspires you to make a big vat of soup. My gosh, that's a lot of soup. And getting it all done in one afternoon is just so...
So I thought I'd bring you in and let you get a listen to what I'm listening to. And honestly, it's music to my ears. I cannot wait for this. And this canner is holding steady right up at 15 pounds. And on my gas stove, it's a medium high, between 9 and 8. And the other canner is holding at 15 pounds of pressure, a little below 8. So a little bit different. It's a lot more metal to heat up and maintain, but what a fabulous, beautiful beast she
Both
is.
canners have come down off of pressure. I can take my weights off, this weight off, and this one's been down off of pressure a little bit longer just because it started first. So this one was about 20 minutes behind it. Go ahead and open your canner. They're still extremely hot. Let that steam out away from you. And, oh, super excited. Okay. We've got our quarts of cream of chicken and mushroom soup. And it's beautiful. And these don't have Tadler lids on them, so I can let these just seal up on their own. Don't tighten the lids on a regular canning jar lid, just on a Tadler lid. And during the canning process, you want the lids loose enough that air can escape. Sometimes some liquid escapes, and that's okay. That's a normal process for canning. This one I can see has a little bit of soup on the lid itself. These are going to sit here and rest till tomorrow, and then I'll bring them out and wash them, take the rings off, wash them really good. I'll check my Tadlers tonight. And so we're going to unlock this guy right here, or this gal I should say. And be careful because this canner's still really hot, but it's down off of pressure, so that's all we care about. You got to twist and then get it off of the lid of the canning jar. It's a close fit on my stove, that's for sure. But we have 16 pints of soup. And so everything that I can today is the equivalent to 28 pints, you know, if you split the quart jars up, of soup. And when you buy a can of cream of chicken and mushroom soup, it's 10.5 ounces, I believe. And so you're not quite getting that much, but it's usually around $1.35 a can for that. And I figured this out, and it was for the hormone-free, antibiotic hormone-free chicken and the organic mushrooms. All the stuff that I bought came to $28, so it's $1 a pint cost-wise. And to me, that's to know that there's no MSG in here. It's perfect for what we want. And you go ahead and take that the top jars we're sitting on, and you grab your jars that are underneath. And these are, you know, they're sitting in water. Go ahead and tighten your Tadler lids. And guys, I hope this brings you back. I hope it inspires you to go ahead and do some canning on your own and realize how fun and rewarding it is to put this stuff into your pantry and know what's in it, know that you handpicked every ingredient, and there's nothing in there that doesn't need to be in there. There's no chemicals that you can't pronounce. Just fabulous and delicious soup. So, as always, guys, if you're not a subscriber, I hope you hit subscribe, and if you are, welcome back, and go down in the About section below and check out all the links that I've left for you. I've got a link to this canner, and they come in all different sizes, but there's a link down there that you can go shop for your own All-American canner on Amazon, and